Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Nile Cruise on Nile TV. And now, dear viewers, there's a very, of course, important hours and minutes and seconds that we're meeting, as in few hours separates us from the final of the African Cup of Nations, Egypt 2019. The Cairo International Stadium on Friday evening will host the final match, of course, between the teams Algeria and Senegal, and in one of the most successful tournaments that have been taking place in years. Dear viewers, about the tournament and the performance of the teams and who keeps his chances of winning the championship is the coming interview. Of course, the coming interview, dear viewers, is a very interesting one from my point of view. It's going to be with Mr. Mohammed Aidel. And Mr. Mohammed Aidel is a sports critique, and we have the pleasure, of course, to have you in our program today, Mr. Mohammed, to tell us, of course, one of the most wonderful tournaments, not because I'm Egyptian, but actually it was amazing. The only disappointment that took place, of course, throughout this competition was that Egypt is not playing the final.
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
Hopefully next year Egypt will be playing the final.
We hope.
Thank you for being with us in today's
Thank you.
episode
Thank
of
you.
Nile Cruise.
Mohammed, the $6 million question, I have to start by this.
Why is it a $6 million question?
I don't know. Is the team that's going to win, in your view, that has the bigger chance of winning, is it the team that has never won the cup before, or is it the team that is waiting now for 29 years to win its second cup? And of course, everybody knows who's this and who's that.
Yes. And I will talk obvious. I believe that Algeria will do it versus Senegal because of many things. First of all, Algeria faced many strong teams. Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire, then Nigeria, and they met Senegal in the group stage and they won 1-0. So Algeria did a lot in this tournament, especially they played 120 minutes versus Ivory Coast, then they won by the penalty kicks. The team of Algeria gave much more evidence to win the championship more than Senegal, in my point of view.
There is a but, though. There must be a but, right?
There's always
Yeah.
a but, because there's
Yeah.
always surprises when we come to discuss
Sure.
any game.
Of course,
all over.
especially Senegal is one of the strongest teams,
Exactly.
not only in Africa, but I believe in the world
Yeah.
nowadays, because of the many talented players playing in Senegal, like Sadio Mane and Koulibaly, the defender of the Italian club Napoli. Many players.
Yeah.
They played every game by the opponents. They play versus Benin. In a way that's different of Tunisia.
Which is a wonderful technique
Of
when we come
course,
to
of
mention
course,
the fact
yes.
that we
Aliou
should be
Cissé,
playing like
the
this.
head coach of Senegal, is doing great. And when we are talking about Algeria and Senegal, we should talk about the two national coaches.
Right,
Jamal Belmadi of Algeria and Aliou Cissé of Senegal.
right.
So the tournament is going to be won by a national coach.
Right. Right.
Okay, Mohammed, who is, from your point of view, what was your opinion about the semi-final between Algeria, Nigeria, and Senegal with Tunisia?
Well, I was very lucky to attend the game between Algeria and Nigeria in the stadium. The atmosphere
were
was
there too, huh?
magnificent because I was sitting with the Algerian fans. I believe one of the pros of the African Championship was the Algerian fans, because they did everything for encouraging and standing behind their team, doing everything, going for the Falgawi Stadium to Suez, then to Cairo Stadium, and it's the first time that Algeria to win in Cairo Stadium after 7 attempts versus Egypt. So I believe the 14th of July is a great date for the Algerian football in their history, because it's the first time to win in Cairo Stadium.
Right.
The atmosphere of the stadium in the game yesterday, in addition to the high rank of tactics and probability to score, especially by the Algerian players, whom were dominating most of the first half of the game and a little bit of the second half, which was dominated by the Nigerian team, and they had many attempts to score.
I want to salute Rana and Muhammad as well, the Nigerian fans. And what made this tournament great is not just the Algerian fans or the Tunisian fans, it's the Nigerian fans, it's the Senegalese fans, it's the fans of each and every team.
Fans also.
And the Egyptian fans who were split. Some of them were the Algerians and
Yes.
some of them were the Nigerians. The Cote d'Ivoire fans, everybody who came here. It was fantastic. And speaking of that game and building up on Rana's question, that game could have gone either way.
Yes.
Because after the penalty, which was a correct penalty, even by the admission of the Algerians themselves. Of course, there were anxious moments in the stadium because nobody understood. Those in the stadiums, they didn't understand, like those watching on TV, what was going on.
Yes.
And when they saw the referee coming out and starting to tilt this way, the question was, oh, it's going to be a penalty. And it was beautifully taken by Igalo.
Yes.
Everybody at the stadium, by the way, wanted extra time and penalties because they wanted to watch more.
Yes.
But the free kick by Mehrez, that was Messi style.
Yes, magnificent.
Yeah.
And in the right time.
Yeah.
Because Algeria team played 120 minutes versus Ivory Coast, and they were very exhausted.
Yeah, Cote d'Ivoire were very strong. Yes.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Versus Nigeria, whom didn't play 120 minutes game.
Yeah.
They were steady and they are much stronger. I believe if the game went to the extra times, I believe the result will be different.
Yeah, yeah. The
Okay.
fitness.
Yes,
Mohammed,
of course.
let's move on to ask you, what is your technical assessment of the championship in general?
Well, as it's the first time to be played by 24 teams, we saw many new teams and many surprises.
Madagascar.
Of course, that great team. I believe Madagascar will be one of the usual seen teams in the African.
Yeah, they play
Championships.
football. It was not by luck. No,
Yes.
no, no. They play football.
And,
Benin.
For myself, Madagascar was not that surprised because I was watching their development 3 or 4 years ago, what they did, even Mauritania.
Yeah.
Mauritania were doing great in Nouakchott and the other cities by making new pitches, having new players to play. There was a great development.
Uganda, they play good football as well.
Of course,
Yeah.
Uganda is a good team, and we did face many times, whether in the qualifiers of the African Championship or the World Cup qualifiers, and they had a great head coach, or they were having, because now he's the Pyramids head coach, is De Sabre,
Yeah.
the French
Yeah.
head coach, the ex-head coach of Al Ismaili, and
Yeah.
many other big names in Africa like Esperance, El Taraggi, El Wydad of Morocco. They did great. They played very well, especially versus Egypt. They had many attempts to score. They did great versus Congo. They did not that much versus Zimbabwe. But when they faced Senegal, they lost 1-0 by Sadio
Yeah.
Mane.
Yeah.
Mohammed, of course, there is no doubt that we were waiting for the Egyptian team and the final opinion of course, or in the finals.
Yes.
In your opinion, what are the reasons for the failure of the team?
Well, we can go backwards before the championship and go to the choices of Javier Aguirre, the ex-head coach of Egypt.
We can start from the World Cup.
Maybe, but the World Cup was another head coach, another squad. Many names are different from the World Cup to the African Championship.
And it was another bad performance as well. I mean,
Yes.
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 yeah.
But
Go.
in World Cup, you did not imagine to go throughout the knock stages or whatever. But when you host the African Championship in your homes and in your stadiums and in front of 100,000 of fans to encourage you, that's a big problem. The main root of the problem is still the same. The football management in Egypt. That's it. The football
They
management in Egypt.
resigned.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big
and
time.
Yes. After the defeat by
Of course.
South Africa, they went. But the football management in Egypt led to what we did see.
But Mohammed, it's worth to mention it's not only the football management. Of course, it's one
but
of the
it's root.
aspects and the
Yes.
very important aspects. But also we have to talk about the football players, which were not up to our expectations. At least they were not up to the expectation of 74. I'm the minimum. I'm discussing the minimum. 74,000 spectators
Per game.
waiting per game.
Per game.
And
Per
100
game.
million.
Other
110
110, Mohammed. 110 million Egyptians wait at home, other homes, watching them, cheering them, loving them, caring for them.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a big issue that we have to stop, analyze, discuss, and find a way out to a better, of course, football Egyptian team that we have to, like we used to always have in the past.
Of course.
Yes. As we're running out of time, I just wanted to mention something here is that the Tunisians almost did it, didn't they, Mohammed? I mean, despite the fact they drew 3 times in the first round, when Fergani Sassi started to participate as a main figure in the lineup, they beat Ghana and then they progressed to the semi-finals. And they almost did it. They missed the penalty. Sassi himself missed
Yes.
it. And then it was an own goal, and then they had a penalty that was not given.
A very bad scenario.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So, but they almost did it.
Well,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I did believe that Tunisia will be the Portugal 2016. If you did see Portugal in Euro 2016,
Yeah, of course. Of course.
they got 3 draws in the group
Yeah.
stage. Then they did it and won the Euro.
And of course, for
the first
older
time.
people, Mohammed, Italy 1982. I mean, that's the
Yes,
first thing.
yes, yes.
Yeah, 3 draws and then the World Cup with
Yes.
Paolo Rossi. But because we have to wrap it up here. Yes, Algeria was with Mehriz, Belaili, Bounajah, Unes,
Soufiane Birouli,
the goalkeeper Reis, and the right back who is injured. I don't know if he will be back.
Yusuf
Yusuf
Attal,
Attal.
yes.
It's a great team and a great coach. But Senegal, who only got out of the World Cup because they received 1 yellow card more than their opponent,
Yes.
is a very strong team.
Of
They're
course.
tall, athletic. They play good football.
Sure.
They have good at dribbling, good at passing, at shooting. They miss nothing. So
Yes.
it's difficult, isn't it, to
Of course.
pick between the
But
two?
From the first round, I believe 90% of the viewers of the African Championship, they did say that Algeria and Senegal will play in the final
Right.
in the 19th of
Right.
July.
Right.
To expect the result is very difficult. Technical wise, both are great, doing great, but the story of the Algerian games in the African Championship, just the story. We are not talking about technicals, we are not talking about the talents, which are many in Senegal and Algeria, but the story of the Algerian team. When you beat Senegal in group stage, then you beat Ivory Coast. then
There's a
you-
lot of heart
Yes.
as well, not just football. A
Yes,
lot of heart.
It's not just football, because they got the hearts and the minds of especially most of the Egyptians, because of the great participation they did, the great performance they did. Also, Senegal, I believe it will be a great final game. I believe it one of the fairest, the most fair final games I have ever seen in my life.
I agree with you. Good luck, Algeria. Good luck, Senegal.
Sure.
Yes, Mohammed. Mohammed Adil, of course, Sports Critique. We thank you so much for joining us in
Thank
today's
you a lot.
episode of Nile Cruise. Dear viewers, few hours separates us from the final of the African Cup of Nations, Egypt 2019, which we've been watching since the 19th of June. Dear viewers, stay with us and we'll be always updating you. And don't go away, for we still have much coming up here on Nile Cruise.